Hey everyone, this is Catherine Lewis Brown, and you will be seeing this probably because you're on my Facebook page or you're on my YouTube channel, which I'm trying to sync up, but I'm not doing a very good job. So I wanted to come on today and just do a quick live, maybe not so quick, but a Facebook Live to answer one of the frequently asked questions that I get asked a lot about, and that is, how do I start my staging business, and do I need to have inventory to do that? And then kind of like the latter part of that is, so how do I start with inventory if I haven't got any yet? So this might turn into a little bit longer, but I've only got 20 minutes because I'm going to get my haircut, so I have to finish it pretty quick. But I'll give you the details, and maybe we'll do a part two with my hair looking less long than it is right now. So basically, if you are starting your staging business, you actually don't have to have inventory to start. There is a way to start your business without inventory. The second part of that question also is, do I need to have inventory in my staging business at all? And I think honestly that you will be missing out on revenues and being able to get the best clients when you don't have access to inventory. That doesn't mean that you have to own it, but it means that you have to have access to inventory that is going to augment and help your staging services. And one of the biggest reasons that you don't want to lose sight of the fact that you need to have access is, one is that your clients are now starting to really truly expect it. It's really so uncommon for sellers to not know, hi Arixia, to not have watched HGTV, or to not, if they're, because they'll be house hunting, to not have gone into a house and seen that house looks extra special, and it's usually because there is inventory in it. So there is that expectation. So you don't want to let your sellers down on that. And also you don't want to let yourself down on that too, because if they see that you don't have inventory, it's quite possible that they will go to a vendor who does. So you want to be as competitive as you can with your sellers as well, so that you are in the running for that job, if you're up against another stager for that job. And the other really big reason is inventory is one of the biggest ways for you to add revenue to your business right off the bat. Now, of course, you're making an investment from your business in inventory, but you're also making money back. So that money back can be, get your business going to six figures far faster than it will if you're investing a little over little. That being said, you can still invest in inventory as you go. And one of the ways to do that is to think about your staging jobs and to plan for your staging jobs that you're going to take a percentage or a piece of the revenue from that job and put it towards building your inventory. I recommend that you don't drive yourself crazy and go broke over that. Like, just, make sure that you're making money to pay your bills as well. But you can take some of that money and go and start buying inventory. And make it for that particular job that you're going to work on. Try not to buy for future jobs with that money. You want to have, actually, in your staging business, in your model, you want to have a budget line for investing in inventory, because one of the things is, and stagers will tell you this who've been in business for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, that you'll be constantly investing in inventory, constantly wanting to do that because you have more customers and you want to provide them with the best. And because of that, one of the risks that you can't afford to take is that you go off and buy inventory because someone says that they have a job for you and you decide, oh, I need inventory, or I'm going to buy something special for this job. You want to make sure that it's actually in your revenue line, in your budget line, that you actually have it. So that's why I don't want you to take it away from your first jobs. I just want you to take the piece of revenue or budget that you can afford out of that job to go and invest in an amount of inventory for that job. So of course that's not going to mean that you're going to have everything that you might need, but it means that you have a really good start for your next jobs as well, because you can use it once in one job, but what you really want to do is keep on using it. So some of the tips around using and purchasing the right kind of inventory are thinking about things like, can I use this again? Is it neutral enough that, and I say neutral is kind of it's this word that we kind of go, ooh, because it sounds uncreative and not very nice and very blah, but it's not really, because when you're thinking about your having neutral inventory, it's the idea that you have a base of inventory that you can start building on, so that if, like, let's say you have a neutral colored sofa, you can add your color and your wow on top of that. And that's where you're going to get the really interesting stuff. But you want to know that in every property, you could take that sofa, pretty much, that it's neutral enough, it's streamlined enough, it's affordable enough for you to be able to rent and use in many jobs, in multiple jobs, so that it pays for itself. Because the last thing you want is to have it in your inventory, sitting in your storage unit or your warehouse or your basement or your garage when you're starting, and it not be out on a job making you money. So first of all, you want to start off by buying the inventory that's going to work for that job that you are working on, and secondly, that you can use it in other jobs later, and also that it will coordinate with other inventory as you build it. So one of the things that I think is really invaluable when you're starting your staging business and when you're starting to build inventory is that you trust your style and you trust your judgment, because your style is what is actually going to make it so much easier for you to purchase and to stage as well, because you can stay consistent. You're not trying to stage for the buyer, or sorry, for the seller. You're buying your inventory, investing your inventory for the buyer, and that buyer is going to be attracted to what you can put together that is in your style. So you want your style to be consistent. You want it to really represent what your business is about without going over the top. So still thinking about that neutral base and building up in layers on top of that, and that wow. And I say the layers because I can remember doing a consultation for a client, and he had this beautiful house. It wasn't a house that I would want to live in, like his decor, but it had beautiful decor. He'd obviously invested a lot of money. He happened to also have been working in the interior design field for a long time. And my recommendation to him was to remove all the extra pieces, and I gave him direction about what that would all be. And so what he ended up doing was taking every pillow off his sofas and his chairs. And it was amazing looking at it, because he didn't have us come in and stage. He thought he could do it himself, but because he followed my direction, he went over the top and he took everything out, and suddenly there was just a sofa. And just a sofa is not enough. Like, we need to create that wow. We need to create that kind of lifestyle. We need to create that thing that attracts a buyer to want to come in and see this house, and especially to want to buy it then, right? So if you have that neutral base, and then you can build on that with the things that are going to add color and texture and style, and that are going to reflect you as well in that inventory. So those are a couple things that are really important when you're picking inventory. Don't shy away from the things that make you unique. Just don't make them the primary thing. Make them the accent, the fun thing, the thing that'll give you the wow, that give the house the wow, and make you feel really proud of your staging as well. So that's how you would start your inventory if you were using your revenues from each job and building on each job. Now, obviously, if you need more inventory, then there's other sources for that too. So you can go to a rental source, like I live in Toronto, and we're very fortunate. There are several really great rental sources in the city that really cater to staging. Really don't rent to anybody else, maybe some realtors, but really to stagers. And so their inventory is absolutely focused on that. There are those places across the industry, not just in Toronto, but across the industry. So those will be a great resource to you. Sometimes, depending on where you are, you can build a relationship with a furniture store, and they will let you rent or borrow, and in exchange for marketing their furniture and their accessories in that space as well. You can rent from other stagers. There are other stagers probably in your area who found that they've struggled with inventory, so now they rent some of their inventory as another revenue stream to other stagers. So that's a reason to get to know other stagers in your area when you're starting your business as well. So there's different avenues to do that. Now, so the other side of the coin is that you can invest in inventory right from the very beginning. And the key thing about investing in inventory is you need to be investing enough that you can stage your homes, but not so much that it's sitting in your warehouse taking up space and not earning you money, because that's going to be important. So if you're going to start with making a bigger investment in inventory from the very beginning, then you want to know that you've got jobs on the table, that you've got someone or yourself looking for work, that that maybe you've decided that you want to focus on vacant staging, so therefore you know that you're going to need furniture, so you can focus on buying furniture as well. So those are the sorts of things that when you are decide to invest, you need to consider those things. You need to consider the amount of money you're also going to invest. And I would really suggest that you explore wholesale avenues if you're going to do that, because you're probably going to be purchasing more than one sofa and more than one bed in order to do that. And you want your money, your investment, to go as far as possible when you are investing in that in the beginning. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a big warehouse, doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a huge storage unit to start. You could be using your basement or your garage. There are many stagers who start with their garage, and you can absolutely do that. And that's a good way of storing your inventory, so it doesn't cost you too much. But as you are building that inventory, as you're making it part of your business, and you've spent the time and effort to invest, you want to think about things like the layers, like that you have the neutral sofas and neutral beds. The more you get into your business and the more you can afford to buy something unique, the better. I remember one stager that I was teaching a few years ago, and I've always remember she was so excited because she had, before she took the class, she'd had a couple of staging jobs, and one of them was a big luxury staging. And she'd bought, I think it was like a 9-foot, beautiful velvet blue, teal blue sofa. And I remember thinking that it was, how beautiful it was. She had pictures of it. It looked beautiful in the staging, but it was so unique that it was going to be hard for her to use that in other properties. It was too big for most properties, and blue was not something that we would normally pick as a piece of furniture that you can use multiple times. And velvet was definitely not something that was necessarily easy for you to take care of as a stager when you're moving it back and forth and it's in and out of your storage area too. So those are the sorts of things that you want to make sure that you're paying attention to, because no matter how beautiful it looks, if it's not going to be something you can rent more than once, then it's not going to be very useful to you, which is a shame to have purchased that. So that's why it's important to know and important to plan out what you're actually going to put into your inventory as you go. What else can I say about that? So there, and you can buy, that's a good time to also buy wholesale. So when you're starting, I recommend it usually that you at least start with about a $3,000 budget for inventory. It doesn't mean you have to buy it right away at the very beginning, but you have to have it and be prepared to go purchase it when you have the job come up and you need it. And some of the best things to invest in right away are things like, and tend to be the smaller things, the things that have less cost, but can really, in layering, can really add that wow to the property, can really bring your style just by how you stage. So things like having tons of white towels. Easiest is if you can get all the same brand and the same style, because then you don't have to worry about keeping sets together. So do that. Find a source that is inexpensive. Your towels do not need to be expensive to be renting, because they're going to look lovely anyway, because they're already full and have lots of pile in them, and it's just as we keep using them they start to look nasty. But we don't do that when we're staging anyway, so nobody uses them. We hope they don't. We keep our fingers crossed. So white towels is a really good base. Having lots of heavier accessories, things like glass and metal, things that have a shine to it, things that have texture, things that have shape. We don't want to have anything that's sort of smaller than a mango. You want it to have some weight in the space you're going to do, that you're going to stage. So think about that. And you want to use them in so that they are not all the same shape, not all the same size, and not all necessarily the same texture. And so the more interesting you can get with your accessories, the more fun you can have, and the less you need, because the bigger pieces you have, the more space they take up, and that will make and they have that kind of presence too in your staging plan too. So think about size and scale to each other. the texture, and the finish. But we want to have something that has reflective surface and that has some wow in it, and that's not too small. I actually don't really I love glass. Like mercury glass isn't so popular anymore, but when I was first staging, I loved mercury glass because had such a great reflective surface, and it reflected and mirrored and it had such interesting dimension to it. They felt handmade, and even though they probably weren't, but they felt handmade, and you could buy some beautiful pieces. But then what I have found though is that if you purchase or use glass that's transparent, that you see all the way through it, first of all, it loses its shine really easily. So you spend a lot of time maintaining it, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to be cleaning glass all the time like that, especially because you'll see the inside of it and it can get quite dusty. So you don't. I don't like personally clear glass that's one of the reasons. Also, I don't find it adds any weight. So that weight that you want to see, and the same in lamps, right? So you want to have something with weight. So so looking for accessories, white towels, white bedding, buy king or queen size bedding in a bag. White is the most luxurious usually. You don't need to start with bedding like comforters and putting them into duvets. You don't have to do that. You can start with bedding in a bag, and it can make a big impact. They usually come with coordinating pillows. If you go to Home Goods or Home Sense, they have some great deals usually. And you can have that bit of color, but you can bring in the more color. But the white is always a great backdrop, always looks clean and fresh and hotel-like. So your bedding, your towels, your accessories, and you want nice art, and that's where you can bring in your style and your color. And that's a really good place to start with that. And so get bigger pieces. You want them to take up some wall space. You want them to have a presence. You want them to have some drama and to pull people through a space. So color is good. It does not have to be any topic specific. It can be shape and just a mess of color, whatever it is. But lots of different color will make it really usable with lots of your inventory as well. And you can have occasional chairs and rugs and lamps. So start with those things that are small and then get to a little bit bigger, like go to the rugs and things like that, and buy them as you need them, and you will feel much, much better about your investment in your inventory because you know you needed it. You know it'll make you money right off the bat. And that's going to be really key for you when you are starting your business and wanting to make revenues on every job and be able to invest back into your business as well. So that would be my first step into starting your inventory. Now I'm going to put down below a link so that and I'll share with you an inventory start list so that you have something that you can start with and an idea of like how much you should be able to invest in your inventory as you go. I should say that you can spend and invest in as much inventory as you like with as much money as you want to. It is really up to you and your staging business and the model for your business. But I recommend that you really have something and that it can grow with your business, or you can purchase it right in the very beginning. But you do you want to have a business model that works for that. And what was the point of what I was saying about that? It's just really important that your inventory be able to be used right away. So being able to do that will be really good. Okay, so anyway, so I'll send you, so if you, I'm going to put a link in below, you can click on that and you'll be able to get your a free checklist and some guidelines as how to start your inventory and what to start with, and then you can get going. All right. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and I will post this and share this, and it will also be on my YouTube channel. So if you, and as I said, if you want to get the list, you can just click in below when I put the link in, and you can have my checklist. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I give you permission to go shop. Go enjoy yourself and buy a pillow. Buy like the craziest, wildest color pillow that you can, or a throw blanket, and start from there, and you'll be off to the races. All right. Could you also please recommend places to buy inventory in Toronto besides HomeSense? Sure, I will add something in for you. There's lots of different places. Beauclair actually is a really good spot too, and they segment everything in color too, so which makes it really easy to purchase. So they're one source. I don't find their quality as like and as varied. Like you don't get as much interesting stuff, but you really do get some good standby stuff. And because we're always looking at price as well too, right? So. And I do recommend one thing. If you see something that you love, buy it. Because if you don't buy it and if you don't buy it and then you go back again and it's gone. I have always have this story about these two lamps, beautiful lamps that I had, or one actually, and I didn't buy the second one. I don't know why I didn't buy the second one. I never found it again. And as a stager, I'm not always in love with having pairs of things in my own house. But in fact, I don't think I have a pair of anything in my own house. But for staging, you really want to have a pair because you need to create symmetry. And it's the easiest way for you to do that when you have pairs of things. And so it's important. So if you see a lamp, don't buy one, buy two. And the same I would say with pillows. Now, the one, especially neutral pillows, your unique pillows and your one-off, you can just buy one. But if you you really want to think about buying pairs of things if you possibly can. All right, so I will put those. I will put that link in the bottom below, and I will add a few things. And yes, it will be in a replay. You can watch it on here for sure. All right, so have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later even more about inventory and how to get started in your business. All right, take care and happy staging.